If you have spent more than 5 minutes on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you have probably heard a phrase like renting an apartment is just like throwing money away, or renting an apartment is just like paying your landlord's mortgage and it doesn't make any sense for anyone to do. And listen, sometimes purchasing a property is the right play depending on your situation. I am a real estate agent after all. Part of the reason I'm able to pay my bills is because a lot of people use our team to help them purchase their long-time properties. Now that said, the problem here is these phrases are used so frequently or thrown around so often that they are treated like universal truths, when in reality, that's just not the case at all. So today I'm gonna walk you through when renting can actually be the smarter move, why the throwing money away or paying your landlord's mortgage argument is just super oversimplified, and how renting can even give you an edge when it does come time to make that home purchase, especially in a competitive market. So why is the renting is like throwing money away argument too simplistic? Well, it's based on a very simple idea, and that is when you own a property outright, part of your payment is going towards building your equity, and when you rent, it is not. But that comparison ignores a few very important things. Your property taxes, your insurance payments, your maintenance and repairs bills, your HOA fees, the opportunity cost of that down payment. When you own, your monthly payment is just the starting point. So renting isn't really just throwing money away. It's paying for flexibility, predictability, and optionality. And depending on what stage of life you're at, those things can be incredibly valuable. Renting also gives you flexibility that ownership simply cannot. If your job changes, if you want to move cities, if you're not sure how long you want to stay in a particular neighborhood, renting allows you to pivot without worrying about selling costs, market timing, capital gains taxes, or carrying two properties at the same time. Especially if you are earlier in your career or in the middle of a transition of some kind, that flexibility can be a lot more valuable than equity. Renters can also have a huge advantage in a competitive market. This is something that a lot of social media posts are never going to mention. Renters often have stronger offers than homeowners. Now, why is that? Well, it's because renters do not have to have a home sale contingency in the offer they're making on their next purchase. Now, I will put a small asterisk here and just say that there are strategies to use if you do have a home to sell in order to get an offer accepted on your next property. But generally speaking, in a competitive market, sellers care about three things: price, certainty, and timeline. And a buyer who is renting can actually close faster, have a little bit more flexibility around time of possession, and also take a major risk out of the equation for that seller. I have seen buyers lose out on great homes because they had to sell a property first and they just were not prepared to do so. And I've also seen renters win homes because their offer was just cleaner and simpler for the seller. So renting can quietly put you in a position of strength when it does come time to eventually win a property. One of the biggest mindset shifts I try to help clients make is this: renting is not a failure. It is not a bad financial decision by default. Sometimes renting is just a deliberate holding pattern while you build your savings, improve your credit, wait for the right inventory, learn the market neighborhood by neighborhood. The goal here is not just simply to buy a home. The goal is to buy the right home at the right time for your specific lifestyle. Here is something that people probably do not talk about enough. And that is, while buying the right home can be a great play and a great long-term strategy, buying the wrong home can be incredibly expensive. Especially if you end up selling the property after a year or two, you're gonna incur those commissions and closing costs again. You may end up having to renovate the house that you never loved to begin with, or you end up feeling stuck because moving just feels too expensive. Renting for another year can sometimes be cheaper than rushing into the wrong purchase, overstretching yourself financially, or settling just to say you own something. Not to mention, I'm looking at 2 feet of freshly dropped snow outside my window right now. You can probably hear the snow blowers going in the background. And I'm guessing a lot of renters out there are inside sipping hot chocolate while their property managers or property owners are out there shoveling, snow blowing, and snow plowing. So there's something to be said about that here in New England as well. But basically, renting gives you time, and time is leverage. So when does buying actually make more sense? And to be clear, I am very much a proponent of purchasing property. But buying makes the most sense when you're planning on staying put for a few years, your finances are stable, you like the inventory that's available, and you want more control over your space, especially if you're looking at the single family home market versus the condo market. The mistake here is pretending that buying is always the smarter move. The smartest move that you can make is the one that aligns with your lifestyle, your goals, your timeline, not some viral phrase that you heard online. So if you are renting right now and you're feeling a little bit of pressure to buy, just remember this. Renting can be smart, strategic, and intentional. And if you are considering purchasing a home in the next 6 months, 12 months, understanding how your current living situation impacts your leverage is incredibly important. Guys, if this was helpful, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you want to have a conversation and talk through whether renting or buying a property makes the most sense for you in the next 6 months to a year, please feel free to reach out and let's have a no pressure conversation. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching the video. See you on the next one.